Greetings, students. I'm Martin, your host for Short Stories. Do you know what a bear does in the woods? If you said, "whisper in your ear," then you've read today's story, which is entitled The Bear and the Travelers. But first, let's get to the vocabulary. Athletics. Athletics. Usain Bolt had always excelled at athletics. Give someone the side eye. To give someone the side eye. She gave him the side eye when he called her his girlfriend. Harebrained. Harebrained. Jim tried to convince me to join his harebrained investment plan, but I refused. Misfortune. Misfortune. The orphans cried over their great misfortune. Philosophy. Philosophy. Immanuel Kant contributed a lot to the field of philosophy. Physique. Physique. Arnold was greatly admired for his physique. Saunter. Saunter. He sauntered into the cafe for a lovely breakfast. Yelp. Yelp. The puppy yelped for its mother. Now that the vocabulary is finished, we will begin the story with Derek's help.
Two men were traveling together on a lonely road. The first man was named Cleon. He was tall, broad-chested, and always walked with his square chin slightly raised. The second man was named Democritus, who was of average height, middle age, and common physique. The two had met at school in Athens, where they studied natural philosophy, geometry, and athletics. Their friendship had formed out of necessity. Cleon had excelled at athletics, but struggled with geometry and natural philosophy. Democritus had excelled at geometry and natural philosophy, but struggled at athletics. So, the two formed a partnership to help each other out. However, it was clear that Cleon had benefited the most from this arrangement. "Thanks for agreeing to come with me, old pal," bellowed Cleon as he slapped Democritus on the back. Democritus gave him the side eye and replied, "You didn't give me much of a choice." The two were on their way to Sparta as part of one of Cleon's harebrained business schemes. "The Spartans are going to love this new candy you invented," declared Cleon. "You mean the candy you invented?" said the sour Democritus. "Huh. Don't be so modest, Demi," cried Cleon as he gave his friend another slap on the back. Democritus sighed and muttered, "I should never have borrowed money from you." After a few hours of walking, the two stopped for lunch. While they were enjoying their bread and olive oil, Cleon heard a noise in the bushes. He turned his head and saw a large bear, sniffing and sauntering about. Without saying a word to his friend, he immediately jumped up and ran up the nearest tree. Democritus, who had his nose buried in a book at the time, didn't notice his friend was gone until he asked him to pass the bottle of wine. "Cleon," murmured Democritus, as he turned his head in the direction of the bushes. Upon seeing the bear, he froze. Remembering his natural philosophy lessons, he quickly curled into a ball and kept perfectly still. "A bear will not touch a dead body," he quietly repeated to himself. The bear approached Democritus and sniffed all around him. Democritus held his breath, but almost yelped when the bear patted him with a large paw. Finally, the bear left. Cleon jumped down from his tree and exclaimed, "That was a close one, Demi. I'm so glad you're safe." Democritus picked himself up and dusted off his clothes. "Hey," continued Cleon, "it looked like that bear was whispering in your ear. It was so close. What did it say?" Democritus shoved his book back into his bag and, slinging his pack onto his shoulder, said, "He told me that misfortune tests the sincerity of a friendship." He then turned around and walked back in the direction of Athens, without saying another word to his friend.
Questions. Number 1. How did Cleon and Democritus meet? A. They met at a party. B. They met at work. C. They met at school. D. They met at Pilates class. The answer is C. They met at school. Question 2. Where were they going? A. Athens. B. Georgia. C. Sparta. D. To grandmother's house. The answer is C. Sparta. Question 3. Why did Democritus turn around and leave Cleon? A. Because he had forgotten something in Athens. B. Because he was scared of the bear. C. Because he finally understood what kind of friend Cleon was. D. Because he missed home. The answer is, of course, C. Because he finally understood what kind of friend Cleon was. Question 4. What is probably the moral of this story? A. Never go in against a Sicilian when death is on the line. B. A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. C. False friends are worse than open enemies. D. Don't poke the bear. The answer is C. False friends are worse than open enemies.